This show brought to you by Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Darren Ganji and I'm here with my review of Driveclub that came out exclusively for the PlayStation 4. And I'd like to apologize for my delay in getting this out, but I was waiting for the network connectivity issues to be resolved. And I was reconfiguring my all my setups here behind me, and I was taking a little bit of a break. But anyway, main reason I would have got this review out a couple weeks ago, right after launch, had the network issues which affect how you interact with your club and how you can send out challenges. Anyway, for my review, I primarily used the Thrustmaster T300 wheel with a set of T500 pedals, and was hoping to use the TH8A shifter, but it is not compatible as a fully standalone shifter. You can connect it to the T300 and use it as a sequential shifter, but I didn't go that route. Also ran it with the T500, which I have connected there behind me. A lot of people were asking, does it work with the T500? And yes, it does, but you need to have the DualShock connected as well, just to get you into the game. Once you're in the game, all the functions on the T500 control everything. As a matter of fact, as soon as you get in the game, the DualShock doesn't even work anymore, and everything is through the T500, unless you want to get out of the game, and then you got to go to the DualShock and press the PS button. Basically, the only thing that doesn't work on the T500 is the PS button. So yes, it is fully compatible. If you're not familiar with Driveclub, I figured I'd give you guys some box cover information. Speaking of which, got the box cover right here. And funny thing, I say the box cover information, and none of that's on the box cover. Doesn't come with anything inside except for how the controllers work, or the DualShock works. And I say box cover, it's basically press release information. So I'm going to go over that and give you some of my opinion about some of the stuff that was stated in the press release. It's about teamwork. It's about everyone fighting for one another and earning rewards together. And most importantly, it's about sharing in the sheer thrill of every race. Enjoy the excitement of high-speed solo racing or join a racing club to discover what Driveclub is all about. Created specifically with the next generation gamer in mind, Driveclub leverages the networking power and social capabilities of the PS4 system to seamlessly connect you and your friends, always allowing you to share your experiences, send and receive challenges, and keep you up to speed with your team's performance. So let's stop right there. This game, since launch, has been plagued. As a matter of fact, they were supposed to offer a free version, like a Driveclub Lite, to anybody that owned PlayStation Plus, and as far as I know, that hasn't even been released yet. And this title, since launch, has been plagued with network issues. So the statement that they just said, how it was leveraging the networking power and social capabilities of the PS4 system to seamlessly connect you and your friends, is not happening. And it's a shame, because I think that could have definitely added a lot to this title, and I'm assuming they're going to get it fixed over time. But considering this title was delayed for a year, and again, talking about the capabilities of the PlayStation 4, where you can play games like Battlefield and a lot of the first-person shooter titles where you need to have that networking capability. It's just not happening. So I don't know if it's on Evolution's side, their fault, on their coding, or on Sony's side, and their servers aren't set up properly. I don't know what the reason is or what the excuse is. Now, it has gotten a little bit better over time. Originally, you had no network connectivity. People couldn't join your club, or it wasn't showing that they joined your club. Some of that has been rectified, but for the most part, it's really taken away from what this game was supposedly built for. So back to the box cover. Join a club, get more playing within a club, and gain access to more races and special challenges. Now, again, the network issues, that's not the easiest thing to do. You can join an existing club or create your own and team up with up to 5 other drivers. So you can have a total team of 6 drivers. Now, it seemed like the leaderboards are working because I've seen where our team is ranked. And I'd like to say hello to my fellow teammates on my Driveclub club. Thanks for joining me. And we're ranked on the leaderboard right around 9,000, so that shows you how many clubs there are. And it's based on how many points you're accumulating as you go. And as you go, you earn club points and individual points. So I think our club's like level 20 or something right now. Everything they do helps you, and everything you do helps the club achieve more. Unite together and represent your club with customized team colors and logos for your cars. Now, those are their in-game liveries and schemes and logos. You can't create your own. You basically manipulate what they give you to work with, but you can't fully customize anything really in this title. Take on face-offs and challenges when you're lucky enough to connect to the server, or it's actually working. Constant and varied challenges are supposed to keep the game feeling fresh and unique. Every section of every track offers a new opportunity to face off with another racer in the Driveclub community to earn fame for you and your club. Customize your experience by creating your own challenges and share them with the world. Again, the challenges are not accessible currently. That's one of the main things that aren't accessible. A lot of them, it's kind of hit or miss. Thing is, too, this does not affect multiplayer. I was able to get into a bunch of multiplayer races recently, and the network problem is not having an effect on that. Earn accolades and fame, competing objectives and challenges, winning races, driving in every location, or beating face-offs will all contribute to you and your club earning accolades, which I have yet to do, and I'm assuming that's because of the issues, but at the end of the race it shows you club or different accolades off to the right and points or different things that you're unlocking, and I have yet to see any of that take place. Continuing on with the box cover stuff, the world's coolest cars, which equates to 50, and the majority are European cars. They have BMW, Audi, Ferrari, Mercedes, Lotus, and a handful of others. All the cars look great inside and out. But I wish I could actually watch replays post-race. There was, replay functionality, but there's not. No American or Japanese companies are represented. Chevrolet, Ford, Nissan, Toyota, which is a disappointment to me. I mean, me being an American, I would have loved to have seen some of those, and would have loved to have seen some Japanese cars and cars outside of Europe. Not that the cars in it aren't cool. I mean, who can say that a Ferrari isn't a cool car? Or, roof. No Porsche, but they do have roof, rough, whatever you want to call it, tomato. Anyway, they have those. There will also be some free DLC as well as DLC you can purchase over time. Now, you can get the cars as you progress and level up. For instance, the top car is only obtainable when you get to level 40. You can't tune the cars or upgrade them. So if you want to drive the top car, ain't happening until you get to level 40. You can't just earn enough credits or in-game dollars or, like in Gran Turismo or Forza to buy that car. You actually have to grind to get to level 40 to get that car. And as a matter of fact, a tip on leveling up really quick. Someone had asked me about this, as a matter of fact. You can rerun the events and get more points to level up. So, once you run an event, go back and run it again. Again, it's back to the grind. And you can level up to get to, work your way up to level 40 and unlock some of those cars. Sometimes you unlock a level and you get 2 cars or, and some more liveries and stuff like that. So a little more box cover, then I'm going to get to the inside sim racing style of review, talk about physics, graphics, that stuff. Stunning real-world locations inspired by real-world roads from diverse regions across the globe. I heard that there would be real-world tracks, at least that was what some people in the community said, but that is not the case. Everything is fantasy, and it would have been nice to have seen some real-world stuff mixed in with the fantasy tracks. I honestly enjoy a lot of the tracks that are in it and the point-to-point stuff. I originally thought it was just point-to-point when I did my E3 thing, but there are tracks, and again, they're all modeled pretty nicely. I mean, I've had fun running the majority of them. Practice technical maneuvers on the open, fast-paced freeways of Canada. Check your reflexes on the unpredictable UK roadways, or sharpen your high-speed steering skills on the mountain and dust-filled roads in India. I think there's also one more location. I think there's 5 locations total. And again, they're pretty cool and a lot of fun to run at them for the most part. And especially since there's stuff that I've never run. You know, these are all unique fantasy tracks, so it's always nice to, you know, not that I don't love running a real world track, but there's only so many around the world, and it's nice to see stuff that's unique. Even though it is easier to run some of the tracks around the world, it's fun to run these new unique tracks and get used to them. 5 different locations total, and most are pretty challenging too. You can't turn a driving line on as an assist. And speaking of which, there's no assists on or off. It seems like there are some on, like there seems like to be some traction control, maybe a little bit of ABS, and you can't turn those on or off. As far as the corner assist, as you're approaching a corner, you see some flags off, usually on the outside of the corner as you're approaching. Red means a tough corner, yellow means medium, green means easy, or in some cases flat out. So, and a lot of times if you don't see those corner markers, it is flat out. It's just like a kink. The gameplay modes include the Driveclub Tour. That's a full single-player campaign where you'll tour the world taking on events, face-offs, and challenges to earn fame for you and your club. Now, a lot of those face-offs and challenges, if the network is having connectivity issues, disappear because you're actually challenging other people. So it's kind of a bummer that it'd be nice if, I don't know, if they downloaded them, or if you download them to your system, so you weren't always having to be connected, but they're not always there. And to finish the complete tour, or there's a maximum, not to finish the complete tour, but a maximum of 225 stars that you can gain as you go through these events. And some, like you have to finish a lap at a certain time, or finish in the top 3 and you get a star. So each one of these different categories throughout the tour gives you a certain amount of stars, and as you get a certain amount of stars, you can go to the next tier, like rookie, like I just finished pro. So you basically have to earn these stars to progress through it. Overall though, the tour is kind of boring and linear and a grind. I didn't really see myself being drawn back into that tour to compete in it because, again, it's just linear, it's not organic. I just think they could have done a lot more with it. So now that I have the main gameplay features out of the way, now it's time to get to the inside sim racing style review. And first up, Simcade, or arcade. This is definitely not a sim, because there's a lot of sim elements that aren't included. Like, first of all, there's no race cars. Second of all, there's no real race tracks. Third, no kind of pit stops or anything like that. So as far as it's simulating real racing, pretty far from it. There are some sim elements. I'd say the handling is simmy. Force feedback's kind of simmy. But I'd say this is more on the cade or arcade side of things. So I would say Simcade with heavy emphasis on cade. And I'd say as far as the physics go, it's a lot more realistic than, say, driving in a Grand Theft Auto or most of the Need for Speed titles. But anyway, let's get to physics while we're talking about physics. I mentioned during one of my first hours of gameplay that I'd give the physics about a 7 out of 10 if I was to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. I'd probably lower that to a 6 after spending some more time with it because, first of all, I can feel that there's some built-in aids because there'll be some times where I feel like I should go into a major slide and I don't. You can really brake a little harder than you should be able to into the corners without losing grip. And again, I feel like there's some analog brakes, that are built into the code that you can't turn off, which honestly, I don't like analog brakes in most sims. I'd prefer to just turn them off. And anyway, that's a whole nother subject. So physics, again, I'd give about a 6 out of 10 if I was to rate them. Next up, how about some force feedback? Let's talk about that. This is the first game compatible with the Thrustmaster T300 and its whole ecosystem of products. So you can run it with the GTE, 458 Italia GTE rim. Again, as I mentioned, you can use the TH8A shifter sequentially, but I didn't. I never gave that a try. And then I actually transitioned to the T500, which I also mentioned, and it works great. I'd say the difference between the two, T500 has more damper or damping. So the T300, you can snap back and forth quicker, especially in those drifting instances. And I probably turned down the force feedback, which, by the way, is I don't know why they have it in a scale up to 100, because you can only adjust it in increments of 10, so it should have just been from 1 to 10. But you can adjust it in 10-degree increments from 0 to 100. I had the T300 at 100%, and I believe I ran the T500 at about 80. So you can adjust that. You can also adjust the amount of vibration from low to medium to high. The vibration offers some pretty cool effects. You can feel it under braking, which I guess would be like the ABS chattering. While I'm on the subject of controls, you can alter the button configuration and stuff. Each button can be tailored to the way you want it, so that was pretty cool. But overall, back to the force feedback, it feels pretty good, and it's intuitive. You can tell what the car's doing. Really can't complain there. If I was going to rate that on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about a 7 or an 8. So it was pretty good. Let's talk some graphics now. So Driveclub runs at 30 frames per second, and overall it seems fluid. I did notice some slight frame rate hiccups early on when I was playing. Nothing to where I couldn't drive. And supposedly when they locked this at 30 frames a second, the developers said they did it to minimize input lag. And I just have to say they did a great job of that, because the car reacts to your inputs, I'd say, pretty much real time. I didn't really feel like there was any serious input lag issues. And I am running an older Vizio TV back there / monitor, 60 hertz. So I'm sure it's not the fastest, but I run iRacing and Assetto Corsa on that thing, and it runs fine. I mean, obviously, back on Frankenrig back there, I have 120 hertz, and it's definitely a more fluid experience, but I don't have any problems running on that thing. So visually, the color looks good, and some of the sun and lighting effects are really cool. The Vista images to me looked a little cartoony, but that doesn't seem to translate over into the tracks. I thought the tracks had a lot of detail and a lot of stuff going on off the track, smoke effects that you see, and so overall it's pretty cool. And you can change the time of day to where you're running in the morning all the way to night, all the way through the night, I should say. And there's also clear versus some stormy. Supposedly rain and snow are supposed to be included in this. That's supposed to come with a patch, and why it wasn't included at launch after a year delay, just I don't understand. So anyway, you can drive from 6 different views, and the in-car cockpit view is nicely done. There's also a view from the dash as though you were looking through the windshield, which I thought was cool. And the only reason why I didn't run that view is because the hood view offered a lot better sound, so I was able to hear the car better running from that view. So I kind of gravitated towards that and stuck with that view. All right, so next up, let's talk damage, and it's only visual, which to me is a huge disappointment. I mean, come on, I don't want to hear the crap that that the developers weren't allowed to damage the cars, because we just heard in an interview from the lead developer of Assetto Corsa that he has Ferraris, BMWs, Lotuses. They have a lot of the same cars in Assetto Corsa that are in Driveclub, and he's never said that he couldn't apply damage to those cars. So either they just didn't develop it or didn't have time. I don't know what the issue is. There is visual damage, so you are damaging the cars, but I want to see mechanical damage. I want the damage to be a form of a consequence. And you would think that the creators of MotorStorm, where their damage model was pretty awesome. It was, again, more cosmetic, but man, if I remember, there was stuff flying off the car, and you could really beat the hell out of the cars in MotorStorm. And that's not the case in Driveclub, so that was a bummer. Sounds, the engine notes are all well done, I thought, and they sound like the actual cars in my opinion. And the engine note, like I mentioned, changes depending on your view, so if you're in car, it's really muffled. And I like the crash sounds too. A few people during my half hour of live driving said that they were too loud, but I disagree. When you're in a car that wrecks, it's loud, and the sound of metal crunching and glass breaking can be a really scary experience. And if you haven't experienced it, not that I suggest that you do, but you'd understand that hearing that type of stuff makes a lot of sense. And I thought it was well done. The AI on the lower levels are a pushover. And as a matter of fact, I even experienced some rubber banding effect. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, I ended up wrecking in one of the races and the cars drove away. Well, I thought I could reset it, or let's see if I can catch them. I caught the whole friggin' pack and won the race. In my opinion, it shouldn't be that way. I can't stand it when AI has a rubber band effect. You either run good or you don't and finish last, and that's just not the case. In the single race, and I'm talking about the tour, in the single race events you can adjust the AI's ability up to legend. And they did offer some pretty good competition, but compared to say like the Forza Drivatar AI on Unbeatable, the legend's far from unbeatable. I was able to beat him pretty easily. As a matter of fact, some people said in the comments of my original drives, wait till you get to Pro and wait till you get to the legend. Well, I did. I just ran the Pro. I'm still haven't gone to the Legend Tour event, but I ran the Pro and won, I think it was 3 events. I won all 3 of them. I think I won 2 and finished second in one of them. And I don't like how the AI, they're pretty dumb, to be honest. They ram you from behind all the time. They never complete it. They'll be aggressive and come up on you, but they end up pounding you from behind instead of making a clean pass. I always am afraid I'm gonna get hammered versus them working a clean pass on me. So AI is pretty weak. Multiplayer is limited to 12 players, which is another disappointment. I guess that seems pretty much the standard. Forza's that way too. I thought I could have recalled some titles on the PS3 and Xbox 360 having up to 20. 12 is barely a race in my opinion. So I was hoping these next-gen systems would have more along the lines of like, say, 24 cars. So that turns into a pretty solid race. And it's just, heck, okay, if you're gonna give me 12, let's add some AI cars in there. Not that the AI is worth a crap anyway, but. You can only join races in the lobby and there's no option to create a custom online race with your friends. The netcode seemed pretty good, pretty solid in the races that I did run. At some points the drivers will turn to ghosts when they're out of control, so you don't get caught up in a lot of the mayhem. And as usual, when I say mayhem, on an open server, in a lobby, most of the races are mayhem. I did have some quality races and did have some fun, but for the most part it was just a crash fest. And that just kind of takes away from the fun of multiplayer. Once they get their network connectivity issues solved, you should be able to do some challenges that people send to you, similar to like a Rivals mode in Forza, but can't do that now. And at one point you were able to see the ghost of the top person on the leaderboard, which is cool, and similar to Rivals mode, or in the challenges I should say, but again, that's limited right now. So let's get to my final thoughts. And after a year delay, I was definitely hoping for a lot more out of this. It has turned into quite a big letdown. I know for not only myself, but a lot of other people out there. You know, maybe if all the club functionality was there, it might have changed my opinion a little bit, but you know, the fact that you can't customize your cars, the tour is linear and boring in my opinion. You know, and when I say customize, you can't mod them, you can't tune the cars. It just has left a lot to be desired, especially if you're going to compare it head to head. A lot of people were comparing it to Forza Horizon because that was the recent Forza title that came out, and you really can't compare the two. I guess in some aspects you could, but you know, Forza's open world and has all these different challenges in the open world, and it's just a much different type of game. Where I was expecting Driveclub to be more along the lines of a Gran Turismo and a Forza Motorsport 5. Now, if Driveclub was a stopgap in between the Gran Turismo releases and was more like a Forza Horizon, it might have been cool, but it's like, which direction are you trying to go here, Evolution and Sony? Are you trying to make this like a Gran Turismo, or are you trying to make this like a Forza Horizon? It's kind of caught in the middle, so that and the network connectivity issues, don't know who to blame for that, Sony or Evolution again. And I think that could have added a lot more fun factor for me to this game. I just didn't see myself getting drawn back to play this like I do Forza Horizon 2 or Forza Motorsport 5. You know, I've played the heck out of Forza 5 and even Horizon 2 since it came out, and it keeps, matter of fact, I'd love to go play Horizon 2 right now. I mean, that's how much I enjoy playing it. And there were some things I did enjoy about the title. I thought graphically it looked cool. I liked the tracks. I liked the sounds. I liked the car selection, although it was small and didn't offer the American and Japanese makes. So there were some things that I liked about the force feedback, was pretty nice, and I was hoping for great things out of this title, being the first true racer on the PS4 that used a wheel. So could I recommend this title and for you to go run out and get a T300 to play this title on a PS4? Honestly, I can't. I can highly recommend a T300. That's a T500 behind me. My T300's over on my PC rig right now, but there's the perfect example of why. The T300 is a great wheel for the PC, PS4, and the PS3. I've been using it on the PS3 too, and it's just a great all-around wheel. If I was to rate this title across the board, I'd probably give it about a 5. You know, I gave Forza Horizon 2 a big thumbs up. I'd give Driveclub a sideways thumb. I wouldn't give it a thumbs down because, again, there were some aspects that I liked. And I could see playing multiplayer with 11 friends being fun, but overall right now I'm just at like a 5 or a sideways thumb. I mean, it's just... Anyway, I was just hoping for more. So on that note, that's going to wrap things up for my take on Driveclub for the PlayStation 4. I would like to thank Sony for hooking me up with a copy. And matter of fact, I got an extra copy. If one of you out there would like it, post a comment in the my YouTube section here, and I'll pick a random winner and send you out my extra copy of Driveclub for you to mess around with, and then maybe you can offer me your opinion. And I don't know if I'm going to do a follow-up on this. Maybe if they come out with a major patch, which, come on, guys, in today's day and age, Forza Motorsport, those guys patched. Horizon's even had a patch. Gran Turismo is still patching. You know, they're going to be out for a year now in December, and supposedly some major upgrades coming to it. So anyway, we'd love for you to join us at our website, isrtv.com, and talk about this title and many others, either in our forums or in our blog section, which, by the way, our blog section is updated every day by either myself or William Marsh with news from all over the sim racing and racing game industry. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. I'd really appreciate it. Don't thumbs down it just because you think Driveclub sucks. I'd appreciate a thumbs up if you thought I did a good job here on this video. So anyway, I'm Darren Ganji for Inside Sim Racing. I'll see you guys next time.